Some stories entertain you for a few minutes. Others stay with you for years. Today, you are about to experience 3 true stories that have inspired millions of people across the world. These are not stories about luck, privilege, or perfect circumstances. They are stories about ordinary people who faced extraordinary challenges and refused to surrender. Every moment in these stories carries a lesson that can transform the way you think about success, failure, persistence, and the power of the human mind. By the end of this video, you may never look at your own struggles the same way again. The first story begins with a young man who seemed destined to fail. He grew up in a poor family and struggled academically. Teachers often viewed him as average, and many people around him believed he would never accomplish anything remarkable. Throughout his childhood, he faced rejection after rejection. When he applied for jobs, he was repeatedly turned away. He applied to universities and was rejected by most of them. Even when a fast food restaurant opened in his city, dozens of applicants were accepted, while he was one of the few who did not get hired. Most people would have accepted defeat and lowered their expectations for life. Instead, he made a decision that changed everything. He chose to see rejection not as proof of failure, but as preparation for future success. That young man was eventually inspired by the internet's growing potential. While others focused on the obstacles around them, he focused on opportunities that did not yet exist. He started a small company with little money and no guarantee of success. The business struggled in the beginning. Investors doubted him. Competitors were larger and stronger. Many experts predicted his company would collapse. Yet he continued moving forward one step at a time. Years later, that company became one of the largest technology businesses in the world. The lesson from his journey is simple but powerful. Rejection is not a verdict. It is merely a chapter. The people who succeed are often not the most talented or fortunate. They are the people who keep moving when everyone else stops. Every rejection can either become a wall that blocks your path or a staircase that lifts you higher. The choice is always yours. The second story takes us to a completely different place and a completely different life. A young athlete grew up dreaming of greatness. From the outside, he appeared talented and full of potential. But what people did not see were the countless sacrifices behind the scenes. While his friends enjoyed weekends and vacations, he spent hours training. While others slept late, he woke up before sunrise. Every day he pushed himself harder than anyone expected. Then disaster struck. A serious injury threatened to destroy everything he had worked for. Doctors questioned whether he would ever perform at the same level again. The dream that had fueled him for years suddenly seemed impossible. The months that followed were some of the darkest of his life. Physical pain was only part of the battle. The greater challenge was the mental struggle. Doubt began to whisper in his mind. What if the dream was over? What if all the sacrifices had been wasted? Many people encounter moments like this. The obstacle may not be an injury. It may be a business failure, a financial setback, a personal loss, or a crushing disappointment. The real test is not what happens to you. The real test is how you respond when life takes away the certainty you once had. Instead of surrendering, the athlete committed himself to recovery with the same intensity he once devoted to training. Progress was painfully slow. Some days it felt as if nothing was improving, yet he kept showing up, day after day. Week after week, month after month. Eventually, he returned to competition. Not only did he return, but he achieved success that many believed was impossible. His story reminds us that greatness is often built during seasons of struggle. The moments that feel like setbacks can become the very experiences that strengthen your character. Success is not always about moving faster. Sometimes success is simply refusing to quit when progress seems invisible. The third story begins with a young woman living in difficult circumstances. She faced financial hardship, uncertainty, and challenges that would have discouraged most people. There were times when she felt isolated and overwhelmed. The future looked unclear. Every day seemed to present another obstacle. Yet she carried a vision inside her mind. She believed her life could become something greater than her current situation. The challenge was that nobody else could see what she saw. Family members questioned her choices. Friends doubted her goals. Society constantly reminded her of the limitations she was expected to accept. One of the hardest battles anyone faces is the battle between external opinions and internal belief. When people around you doubt your potential, it becomes tempting to doubt yourself. The woman could have listened to the voices telling her to settle for less. Instead, she chose to trust her vision. She continued learning, improving, and taking action despite uncertainty. She failed many times along the way. There were moments when success seemed farther away than ever. Yet every setback taught her something valuable. Every obstacle forced her to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Years later, the life she once imagined became reality. Her success did not happen overnight. It was built through thousands of small decisions that nobody celebrated at the time. The world often notices the final achievement, but ignores the years of preparation behind it. Her story teaches us that belief is not merely positive thinking. True belief is continuing to act even when evidence is limited. It is maintaining faith in your future while facing challenges in the present. The people who transform their lives are often the ones who keep believing long after everyone else has stopped. When we place these three stories together, a powerful pattern begins to emerge. The first person taught us that rejection does not define our future. The second showed us that setbacks can become sources of strength. The third proved that belief can carry us through uncertainty, different lives, different circumstances, different challenges. Yet the same fundamental principle connects them all. Success begins in the mind long before it appears in reality. Many people spend years waiting for perfect conditions before taking action. They tell themselves they will start when they have more money, more confidence, more support, or more certainty. The truth revealed by these stories is that perfect conditions rarely arrive. The people who achieve extraordinary things start before they feel ready. They move forward despite fear. They continue despite rejection. They persist despite setbacks. They believe despite doubt. Think about your own life for a moment. Consider the challenges you are facing right now. Perhaps there is a dream you have delayed because the risks seem too high. Perhaps there is a goal you abandoned after experiencing failure. Perhaps there is an opportunity you have ignored because you doubt your abilities. What if those obstacles are not signs that you should stop? What if they are actually preparing you for something greater? Every successful person eventually discovers that obstacles are not interruptions to the journey. They are the journey. The human brain is incredibly powerful. Whatever thoughts you repeat consistently begin shaping your actions. Those actions create habits. Habits create results. If you constantly focus on limitations, your life becomes smaller. If you focus on possibilities, your life expands. This is why mindset matters so much. The stories you tell yourself today become the reality you experience tomorrow. The moment you stop seeing challenges as enemies and start viewing them as teachers, everything changes. As this compilation comes to an end, remember the lessons hidden within these remarkable journeys. Rejection is not the end of your story. Setbacks are not proof that you cannot succeed. Doubt from others does not determine your future. The path to success belongs to those who continue moving forward when it would be easier to quit. Every challenge carries an opportunity. Every failure contains a lesson. Every difficult season has the potential to shape a stronger version of you. The next chapter of your life is still unwritten. No matter where you are today, your future remains full of possibilities. The question is not whether obstacles will appear. They will. The question is whether you will allow those obstacles to stop you or whether you will use them as fuel to keep going. The three stories you heard today prove that ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results when they refuse to give up. Perhaps the most important story is the one you are writing right now. Make it a story worth remembering.